The concept of a montage in the film industry has brought and continues to bring audiences new or similar experiences with each of its use. This technique, as we know it today, montage, has its origins in the 1920s, starting out in black and white silent films. In the early 20th century, Sergei Eisenstein, a pioneering Soviet director, was widely recognized for popularizing and formalizing the notion of montage editing. In the 1920s, Einstein and other Soviet filmmakers, like Vertov, created montage editing ideas and methods to transmit ideological beliefs and emotions far more effectively than previous traditional linear narratives, especially for this time in history. However, the one Sergei Eisenstein film that has been analyzed front to back for its pioneering of montage editing is none other than Battleship Potemkin, made in 1925. Due to Battleship Potemkin being a silent film, each sequence must contain effective editing. Rapid edits and juxtapositions that both compare and contrast are used in this film's montage sequences to produce tremendous levels of emotional impact during the Massacre in the Odessa Steppes montage sequence. Because of the silent nature of the film, there is also much utility to the highly expressive acting, facial expressions, and body language in the sequence. This helps convey the actors' emotions of shock and despair. We see this shown to the audience perfectly when a woman's child gets shot and gets trampled on by the crowd. This scene does a perfect job of conveying the mother's shock and helplessness in the situation without the use of any dialogue. This is through the expressive acting on both the part on the mother and the child, as we can see the child silently mouth mama or ma in the close-up of the shot of the child. Throughout this sequence, Einstein employs this montage technique to express abstract notions that are both deep and thoughtful. The scene of a baby carriage bouncing down the steps, for instance, is juxtaposed with the soldiers firing their rifles, producing a visual metaphor for the innocent's helplessness in the face of such brutality. Einstein and his methods were informed by his notion of the ability of image collision to allow viewers to synthesize both thoughts and emotions within themselves. Sergei Eisenstein was once quoted describing his use of montage editing and had this to say: "Montage is an idea that arises from the collision of independent shots, wherein each sequential element is perceived not to the other, but on top of the other. In other words, you cannot look at a bunch of individual shots and expect them to be able to communicate a sequence by themselves. It's placing each image on top of one another in a way that makes sense and works together to convey something meaningful, which results in an effective montage." The Odessa Steppes sequence in Battleship Potemkin showcases how a film editing technique can be influenced by the technological limitations of the time, as well as directors' desire for the creation of new and compelling storytelling elements.